during some very difficult, during a very difficult era. Wasn't much PTA around, and took a lot of organising to have it built. I don't know all the people involved. There were a lot. I've heard a few stories about different ones that got it established. It was basically, I'm not quite sure whether it was, the idea was hatched prior to that tragic event when the drowning of that rugby team, or whether that instigated them to hurry up and make it happen. My grandmother was part of that team that raised PTA to build it, along with many other people. I think from the stories I heard that most of the PTA was raised by fishermen, cod fishermen back in the old days, and the different fishing companies that were here at the time. Korero was one of the major villages, fishing villages, and Winga. So those companies played their part too when the fish was sold, like in the Wellington Harbour, on the wharf firstly, then it went to their fish shops like the Yuris and the Ganoviches, and others. Also the fishing boats that were here in the old days, they sold some of their catch and put money back into this, and the hospital and the council also. So a big thank you to many people and their efforts, and of course the various committees since then that have kept this taonga alive. Thank you to all you people as well. Yeah, that's my top unit. Tātou katoa kua hui mai hai nei. Tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa.
Tēnā koe maha.
Look, okay. No one else can.
We'll use that way to the conclusion, eh?
Sit down.
You want me to get out there?
Yeah. Please.
Albert was the first chair of the all the members of the Marae committee, and Albert, we are fortunate to have Albert here as the first chairman of the Marae committee.
Me tūtai, me miri ki te atua, nā nei, nā me katoa. Kia ora koutou, ki roto i tō tātou whare uri no e te whare. E kui mā, e kora mā, te whānau, manahiri, i ngā iwi, i ngā hoe wā. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. First of all, I must say it's quite a surprise to walk in here and see all the alterations to the alterations that our Maori committee first started, and it's changed considerably and it looks really nice. So congratulations to the committee that was involved to that, Nali. Going back probably to the 1840s, 1940s when this place was put up, there was a lot of our parents that were involved, like Kevin had said. My grandmother was involved, Auntie Rana's grandmother, and all the rest of the earlier Chatham Island names, everything. Because at that time there was a competition between Waitangi and Tione to actually a building of this Hall of Memories. My understanding was that this hall here was built for the memory of those people that passed in the wars of that time. So it was originally owned by a society, Hall of Memory Society. They had trustees on it. And anyway, it was used for pictures, indoor basketball, and young people. And of course, Patrick remembers the battles we used to have on this floor here. We used to have some great times, and a lot of dances were held here as well. you might have noticed that this floor here was built in a cove situation, and that was purposely done like that for dancing and that. And of course, back in those days, there was a lot of Chathamites that were very good at that. I remember coming to him and well, the mother used to drag me up, but I had no option. But didn't do me any harm anyway. But yeah, so we had a meeting in Waitangi Marae Committee, and I was the chairman of it. It was the first, because they said the Marae Committee sort of went front, and then some people from Christchurch came over and helped to set it up again. And of course, I became the first chair of it, and of course Rana was another one of the representatives on it. And I can remember when Uncle Fred said to me, he said, "Oh, we are sort of," because he was a trustee on the Te Ongi Hall Society that time, and he said to me, he said that we're sort of losing interest and the place is getting a bit dilapidated, and would we like it? The Marae Committee. And I said, of course we would, before I even spoke to our committee. And anyway, I took the message back to them. They were all in favour. And we got Hugh Rennie to draft up some papers. And we had a meeting in Waitangi, Marae Committee meeting, and of course, while we were trying to sign it, the bloody lights went out. And we had to hunt around for a candle, so we should have only taken about 5 minutes. It took us about an hour to get all the papers signed up anyway. And so that's how we sort of originally signed the thing, and we bought it for $1. And so the Māori Committee became the owners of a building, and there was those 2 rooms out there, and there was another 2 rooms just here. So that side was our kitchen, and the other side was the toilet. And you had to use the long drop bucket. And then somebody had to empty it after every function you heard. So we got the fundraising, and of course raising up, and Māori Affairs gave us funding, and other organisations. And so we built the toilets at the back, great big concrete tank under the kitchen there, and put the kitchen up, and then the septic tank over the back. So that was us, and we got it built, and then Sir Paul Reeves came over, and he blessed our thing, and we used it as a marae. And we changed the name from Hall of Memories to Whakamaharatanga, which means the same thing only in Māori. That's all it is. So that's how we ended up with the Whakamaharatanga marae here. Yeah, and of course we carried on using it, and it's been used for many things since then. We've had weddings in here, dances, we have meetings, and we've had arguments, a lot of decisions. But that's what it was for. I mean, the arguments were, I think, were to the good. It helped to bring people together and discuss their whakapapa, really, to know who they are and where they are and what's in the future. And well, we'd probably, I think I might have said enough there to bring you up to where it is at now. And Arlene and them have done all these alterations, and it's really good. The only thing I've noticed when I walked in, the sign wasn't up there, the Whakamaharatanga marae. It's the only thing I noticed wasn't there. So, thank you very much for all the work you've done here, and all those who supported it and helped. So, no reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa.
Okay, I think Albert's covered most of the history of Albert, the sign is out there, and Erica's been on my back.
Yeah.
I have the paint, but it's sitting there to come to her. We promised we'd have it up in the next week. Isn't that right, Rika?
No, Chatham Islands.
But, okay, first of all, I'd like to thank our funders, because without them we wouldn't have been able to achieve. But probably first I'd like to thank the previous committee members, and there's quite a few of you here, and that have worked to keep the building alive and going. So our committee has just picked up from there and carried on. So I'd like to thank the funders, which is our Provisional Growth Fund, the Ministry of Business, Innovation and Employment, who work closely with TPK. Spark Free Internet for 5 years, which is behind you, which is fantastic. And it's all set up for Zoom meetings and everything. The Rata Foundation with the whiteware, that's all in the kitchen. Then we go to thank all our crew. So most of our work came through, we were to employ the local people as much as we could, which we did try to do. Unfortunately, we had Peter and his crew came in to remove the roof. And then we had our Jimmy James and his crew come in to replace the roof, which is a fantastic job. We had Leith, and unfortunately Leith couldn't be here tonight, which he was a bit disappointed about. But Leith went above and beyond. We're a woman on the committee, and we would come in here and we'd say, oh, Brian's laughing. We're not quite sure about this, can we change this? And Leith never argued, he just went with us and we changed everything. And ended up with this. And Brian with the painting once again, we asked him to do a little bit, but it came a big bit. And he, once again, he just carried on, so thanks. A Mike for the carpet lane. We have Abba and Erica for doing the planting of the lilies that are out along there, and hopefully will be really good next winter. We had Inia come in to do the digger work around the back. James and Stacey for carting the carpet, and of course we had, which I think Nick is on the plane today, which will pop in, full bore plumbing, and he did the whole marae now is gas, so it's all instant heat, which is fantastic. We have Danny and Erica who did catering for the guys that were working here for the meals and so forth. But one person that really needs a big pat on the back, and that's Teresa, our secretary. She worked long hours to source the funding. She's kept us all on track, she's paid the bills, and whatever she's been asked to do, she's always done it. We're not in the red yet, so we've still got money in the bank. I keep saying, oh yeah, we can't do it, yeah, we're fine. And Erica was our project manager. She came down and had to take photos of everything that was done on certain things, which she kept it up, and she's going to give you a little demo of our latest. Oh, she's not going to let it, you're not going to let the roof thing down. Please do. And lastly, our little tamariki that we had here, we've got quite a few of them here, that did a cleaning working bee here, was it 2 weeks ago? We had little boys, little girls, they were outside cleaning cobwebs off. We did notice a couple of boys went past us a couple of times, but they still had their brooms. And you were one, Connor, weren't you? But they worked and they did whatever we asked them to do, which was fantastic. And Hawks and I was doing honey, but we did notice these kids it was fantastic for them to see, to do. So apart from that, we have a long way to go. We still have all the toilets out there. Hopefully we'll have them done by Christmas. And of course the front entrance is still yet to be done, which we will work on. But apart from that, yeah, there's thank you for everyone for tuning up. We appreciate that, because at the end of the day it belongs to everybody. We're just hopefully caretakers and looking after it. So you can pop it there. You can pop the top. We've got some of our storage we've done up, and because the roof was lower, we've got a little, I think this is something that the kids love doing. We've got there and stacked the, so a lot of our stuff is now stored up on the top. So Erica's going to give you a demo of one of our latest.
She had wrecked it and pulled it out.
Flash, right?
So up there is all of the mattresses and all our bookwork and everything is all stored up here.
Does it get lights up here?
Sorry?
Does it get light up here?
Yes, yes. My granddaughters think it's a fantastic play hut up there, so I have to go up there and do it. So apart from that, we would like to have some pie and share that. So I think we've got the way prepared. But yeah, thank you, and just thanks everyone for all that we've done here.
Tēnā rā tātou. So, just before we get into the waiata, Kathy's just brought up with some others may want to say something. Pat, if you could, and maybe one with our rangatai. I'm a bit old for that, but...
Tēnā reki mā, tēnā koutou, rāna e hoa, my elder, to all my friends here at the whānau Whakamaharatanga, tēnā koutou katoa. My first memory of this place was when I was 13. We've got 40 people here right now. I'm a bugger for counting all the time. But in one dance, there would be 40 people in 4 lots, 8 in squares, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 40, dancing while there were a heap of people still, if they could see each other in the smoke. while snow was beaten out of tune on the new stage, and Bolden was playing left-handed violin. And out here, there would be a fight going on. And that was all about land. So this was the atmosphere when I was a kid. And I was wide-eyed and it was magnificent. And when we did have dances when we got older, 16 and 17, and we were coming home from high school, and there'd be a dance put on usually by Wata and those elder mothers who would get us all together. And Harry used to look after the motor out here, and to get all the old people home, I would go out as this little snowy-haired white kid, and I would put water in the petrol, and the motor would finally go out, and Harry was the mechanic. He'd come along with his torch, and there was plenty of petrol because there was the wet there, all right, and there was plenty of spark. The motor wouldn't go, so everyone around Tione and beyond, because it was mainly all around this place and beyond, would come to these dances. They would all go home, and the hall was ours. All the teenage kids. And we stayed here until well into the morning. It was magnificent. So this is my memories as a kid. And then when Wendy and I bought the helicopter home here in 1972, this hall was derelict. No one used it until 1972. The door was smashed, and my kids would come through the hole, Albert, through the toilet, but there was no tin there, it was just a hole. My little kids from school would come into here and play around. But 9 of us got together and we got all this paint from MOW, and we painted the outside and we painted the inside, put badminton things in, table tennis and darts, and there was this line across here was possibly the very best for indoor bowls. And can you imagine Charlie Priest and me and Maxie Jacobs and a few others? Joe Wythe was down in the the storekeeper, and old Fred Lenours was down here. He was the chairman of the council, and our thing was over there somewhere. Our bowling little area, because it was no good. It went everywhere. Yeah, these guys down here were very serious, extremely serious about their game. And down here, we would come down here, and I don't know how we ever got away with it, but we would start off here like this and go This thing would waver across here and cut into their little bays. Joe White didn't like it at all. So this is the memories that I have, unbelievable memories of happiness, community, hall of memories, nothing to do with race. It was a gathering of love in this hall. When I came here this afternoon and I saw these chairs running, I said, what's happening? Was there a meeting in here or something? Eileen told me that she left a message on my phone. What old man goes to the phone to get a message? There's no light that goes on and off, so I don't go to get messages, but anyway. So we've come back to it. It's lovely to see the work, because all this took a lot of work. And out there in the kitchen is magnificent. And the early work, the water supply is what makes it, and the toilets also. This hall of memories is going to be here for a long time, because Chatham Islanders know what an asset is, and not to get rid of it when you don't have to. So, nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa.
Yeah, Pat. Thank you, Pat. Any others before we break with our final waiata and the kai? Kau e whakamā.
Who's going to start us in our waiata?
This smart, you're going to lead us with our waiata? Kathy? Titi, you know? Hui! Oh, boy.